Welcome to the Greenlight Investor for the week ending February 20th, 2015. Our goal at the Greenlight Investor is to make managing your 401k choices both a simple and easy process. I'll go through an overview of the worksheet, then I'll highlight a few of the key features that I believe will provide a sound method to help you allocate assets between your various 401k investment fund choices. Let's go right to our worksheet. Each week we update this worksheet, and on the left we'll see the investment choices that are available to you. They're listed by fund number, fund symbol, fund name, and fund description. And we start out at the top with your core investment choices, and as we scroll down you'll see the satellite investment choices that include the money market funds, fixed income, U.S. growth and income, the U.S. equity funds, international funds, and finally the sector funds. Each week we also highlight and update the closing price, the month-to-date total return, the quarter-to-date total return, and the year-to-date total return. We do this for each of the funds so that you're able to take a quick look and see how the performance is doing for each of your funds compared to the rest of the funds available. And finally, let's go over to what I believe is the most important section of this worksheet, and that's the current weekly trends. The core of this current weekly trend section is highlighted with this bright green section called the Relative Strength, or RS, Trend Change column, column V. What's so important about this is it quickly highlights which funds are doing the strongest by showing a bright green square, and it'll show which funds are doing the weakest by showing the bright red squares or rectangles. Here you'll see very bright, so our large cap was an underperformer this week, and as we scroll down we'll look at a bright green light and we'll see that our Pacific Stock Index Fund was one of the stronger performers this week. Now let's scroll up to the top and I'll show you how we can use this simple red, green, and yellow light system to help you allocate assets between these different funds. As we mentioned, we like to be in funds that have a green light to the left of column V and a green light to the right. When we see the green lights, and particularly on the right side with the higher numbers, those tend to be the stronger funds that are performing in the markets right now. And when we see funds that have red to the left and red to the right, particularly with higher numbers, those are tending to be the weaker funds in the markets right now. So we tend to gravitate the asset allocation towards the green funds whenever possible. Let's go to our asset allocation sheet and I'll show you how we do this each week. Let's go to View, we'll go to Custom Views, and let's go to Just My Allocation. I click on Show, and here's my allocation section. We've made it easy for you to set up your allocations by simply clicking on the Allocation Guideline button. It'll give you a short 10-question quiz to help you find out what kind of an asset allocation would be appropriate for your level of risk as well as your investment time horizon. Our allocation that we're using for this example will show our target allocation. We'll always have our target up here on top. For example, we have 10% allocated to our index funds, and in the yellow you'll see that we currently have 10% allocated to the index funds. To see how we're doing and to see if we need to make any adjustments this week, we'll simply take the slider at the bottom and slide our columns over so that we're showing one column to the left of column V and the rest of it to the right. We can quickly see that our 10% allocation to index funds has a yellow light. That one switched from green last week to yellow this week. And we do see another choice that looks like it's doing better. It's got a green light to the left, and it's got a stronger relative strength trend score number and a green light to the right. So let's go ahead and make this allocation. We're going to take this one down to 0, and we're simply going to move this one over to this fund here. And what we'll see that we've done on the next trading day is we've moved assets from our index bond fund over to our total stock market fund. So on the next trading day, we'll simply make that adjustment. It's as simple as that. Let's continue down with our current allocations. We're keeping a 10% in money market for right now, and we have a 5% allocation to fixed incomes. Let's go down to our fixed income column and see how we're doing. Right now we have 2 bearish and 4 neutrals. So again, this one's going to warrant a change. It's not an absolute necessity that you change it, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to do this right here. We're going to move our 5% up to the money market and just hold it there until we start to see green lights appear again in that allocation field. So let's go back to our money market, and we're going to put 5% more in there, which will bring it to 15. So even though we've allocated 10% to money market, by moving our fixed income allocation, we now have 15%. Let's continue with this process and see how the rest of our portfolio is doing. Here in our growth in income, we have our target allocation at 5%. The yellow shows that we currently have 5% in the allocation, and that also has changed this week to a yellow light. Since we have choices that are green, let's go ahead and take a look at these and make a fund change over to that. We're looking at a bullish and a bullish, and here's one that has a stronger relative strength trend score. So I'm going to go ahead and elect to take 5% out of this fund and move that 5% into another growth and income fund that's doing a little bit better. So let's slide over and see what we've done. We've taken our 5% out of our Vanguard Wellesley Income Fund, and we've moved it over to our Vanguard Balanced Fund, which seems to be doing just a little bit better right now. Next, let's go ahead and shift back over so that we have one column to the left and one column to the right of column V showing. In our U.S. equity funds, we're seeing that we're fine with a green light to the left and the right, and a green light to the left and the right. So nothing to be done there. Our international funds, we're seeing that we have a 20% allocation, which is doing just fine with a green light and a green light. And we have a 10% allocation that has a green light and a yellow light. So again, with the yellow light, it's not necessary that we make a change. We could, because we do see another green light, but it's not necessary. Yellow just means, like in a traffic light, that it's a cautionary note. If it were to turn red, then we would make the change. And finally, let's go down to our sector funds where we have a 10% allocation target. We currently have 10% allocated to the fund here, which has a green light and also has a green light. So again, no activity needed this week. Within those, we have the other 2 changes that we'll do on Monday's market close. That's all there is to managing your 401k. So what used to be a fairly mysterious process, we've made to where it's a very simple and easy process to keep track of. The green light system is meant to provide a method that's both simple and easy to help you navigate the choices within your 401k. I want to take a minute and thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been helpful and has given you some ideas and resources for managing your various 401k choices. If you'd like to find out more about how the Green Light Investor can help make sense of your 401k, simply let me know the best time and method to get a hold of you, and I'd be glad to go over this system in a little bit more detail. Thank you again for watching, and have yourself a great weekend.